the Ben Garcia Show. There's a few things to get into today. Let's talk Kevin Durant, potential trade possibilities. Let's continue dissecting the rumors. And there's a deal on the table that I think is probably the best that the Suns are going to get, which makes me skeptical in thinking that it's actually there. Because why haven't they done it if it isn't? Plus, Kyler Murray, man, he might be the most disrespected quarterback in the league. I get not liking him, but where Fox Sports put him, it seems a little unfair. Let's talk about it all next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like Callis. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. Thank you so much for joining me each and every day here on the Ben Garcia Show. There's a lot of things to get into. We got Kevin Durant trade speculation, a trade that is on the table, it looks like, and the fact that the Suns haven't taken it is absolutely insane. Plus, Fox Sports ranked their top quarterbacks in the NFL, and you'll never believe where Kyler Murray ended up ranking with all the other quarterbacks in the NFL. So we'll get to that as well. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. You guys have been doing that in bunches. It is so fun being able to tweet or post something on social media in any facet, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I'm there at Ben Garcia Show. It's been fun to be able to get immediate reaction out of my takes and be able to react back with you guys. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the support you guys are showing to that and to this channel. This channel has been doing numbers recently, and it's all because of you. So don't forget to not only follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show, but also like, share, and subscribe this show. It helps me out more than you can even imagine. Okay, it's enough begging. Let's get to the actual content. So the question starts to marinate over this Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Who's going to win it? What team will eventually come out with the former all-star and probably still going to be an all-star, and a guy who's probably going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, that's just how Kevin Durant is. However, there's this debate about can the Suns, will the Suns, won't the Suns trade Kevin Durant to a destination that he does not approve of. The Suns yesterday got an offer that I don't think they can refuse. According to John Gambadoro, and I'm not sure if this offer is contingent on an extension. I did not see Gambo report this. But if this offer is not contingent on an extension, it's the best offer the Suns have that is currently on the table. Yes, I agree, adding Castle to a Spurs deal makes it better. I agree, adding 2 first-round picks to the Rockets deal, the number 10 pick and the 2027 first-round pick, I agree, is more compelling. But those two things are not on the table right now. Khalil Ware, the Miami Heat, have the best offer if they add him to a deal. Also, apologies to you guys. This morning, the landscapers decided to do work right outside my window, so there's that as well. So apologies for that, but the show must go on. Kevin Durant as well, whether it's the Minnesota or whether it's the Miami Heat, Spurs, Rockets. The Raptors deal is atrocious. We'll get to that in a second. But if any one of those teams decides they want to add another piece to it, it could easily surpass the Minnesota Timberwolves deal. But if this deal is not contingent on Kevin Durant signing an extension, I don't really care what the Phoenix Suns do. They need to take that deal. I couldn't care less about what Kevin Durant thinks or feels. I understand in other ways that used to matter. It doesn't anymore, guys. Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler are both the most recent stars that requested out and had a preferred destination. Neither of those organizations honored that preferred destination, and it's kind of surprising that the Trailblazers didn't, because that was their guy. That was their whole franchise. And same with the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant wants to go somewhere. That's cool, man. You wanted to go to the Knicks. They don't want you. You want to go to the Heat and the Spurs. They don't want to add another piece to it, which I think is nuts. Not adding Jeremy Sohan to a deal, making him untouchable, or not adding Khalil Ware to a deal, not making him untouchable is crazy. It's absolutely crazy talk. But if they don't want to do that, it shows their level of interest in Kevin Durant. And I don't think Kevin Durant was ready for that. So the Suns, I think, are scratching Kevin Durant's back, and he needs to scratch theirs. They're not sending him to Charlotte. But when I see the Minnesota Timberwolves deal, a team that was just in the Western Conference Finals in back-to-back seasons, they need another piece. I'm sorry that the weather there isn't sunshine and rainbows. I guess you'll just have to go vacation in Aruba when the season ends and then leave the state. I mean, it's crazy talk. But if the Suns don't take the Minnesota Timberwolves deal, it's like the last straw. If this deal is actually on the table, and I guess none of us actually know, but if Rudy Gobert, well, aside from Gambo reporting it yesterday, but I'm not sure if this deal is contingent or not contingent on an extension, because I'm sure that changes the framework of the deal. But if there's a deal that is Rudy Gobert and Rob Dillingham, Dante DiVincenzo, and the 17th overall pick for this year's NBA draft, you have to take that deal. That deal would be Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, and the 17th overall pick. That helps you in so many different ways. That helps you stay competitive for now. Rudy Gobert, I understand people aren't in love with him. And people have said that to me too. Like, oh, you like Rudy? Yeah, I mean, I like Rudy. He's a defensive anchor and lob threat, and Devin Booker needs one of those. But he can't shoot a three. He gets played off the court in playoff situations almost every year. But I just don't care. The Suns aren't looking to win a championship right now. They're just looking to stay competitive, keep Phoenix an attractive place to be. And Rudy's not on an awful deal. It's not a great deal, but it's not an awful deal. And Dante DiVincenzo, bring him into the fold. He's someone that can hit a spot at three. Devin Booker needs to be around shooters. And he brings a little bit of attitude to this team. He's someone who push a couple of guys around, plays fine defense. And when you talk about a team that starts Rudy Gobert and Ryan Dunn, you kind of solve a lot of your defensive issues, at least in the starting lineup. That's a really good tandem right there. But more than any of it, you get Rob Dillingham, who, in my opinion, is a first-round pick because of how highly he was drafted, because the Timberwolves traded up for him, and because he's so young, he's a rookie, he feels like a first-round pick to me. So, even though we don't know what he is, you get a first-round pick for this year's draft, and you get Rob Dillingham, who might be awesome. He might not be. He might be terrible, but he might be awesome. He might be able to make that tandem in the backcourt with Devin Booker for the next half decade of just being great. Yeah, he's a small guy. He's 6'2", not a big framework. That can change given the fact that he's so young, get in the gym. But that's the best deal the Suns have right now. A couple of decent players, a lottery ticket in Rob Dillingham, and a first-round pick for this year, and a good draft. And if Kevin Durant doesn't like that, I'm sorry, I don't really care. They're not sending him to Charlotte. They're not sending him to New Orleans. If it's not contingent on an extension, sorry, Kevin Durant, send him out with a fur coat. You're headed to Minnesota. That's just the way things roll. People try to tell me, well, that's not how it goes. No, that's not how it used to go. When everyone had the ability to have cap space in the old CBA, you're right. They could dictate where they wanted to go. But Kevin Durant is old and he's expensive. Still awesome. Still a top 10 player of all time. But old and expensive. Teams don't want to take that risk. So the Knicks are saying, we're good. The Spurs have said, we'll give you the 14th overall pick in Devin Vassell. And the Rockets are saying, we'll do Jabari Smith in the 10 pick, but we're not adding anything more to that. So when the Minnesota Timberwolves come in with an offer that is just superbly better, allegedly, you have to take that deal. I don't care what Kevin Durant thinks. He doesn't get a large say in this. And to the people who say, well, he just won't sign an extension. Because there are people out there that'll say, well, he's just going to go there and not sign an extension. Come on, guys. Let's live in reality for a second. He's 37 years old, right? 37 years old. He's really expensive. No team wants to take that risk. Kevin Durant at 32, when he had a few years left on his deal, or 34, when he had a few years left on his deal and he wanted to go to the Phoenix Suns, it made him more attractive because he was still awesome. 37 years old, injury history, expensive. You don't have the same leverage as you did. Now, I don't think the Suns have all the leverage, and I don't think KD has all the leverage. I think it's shared, and both sides are leaking out things to try to get their way. But if the Suns miss out on a deal as good as what the Timberwolves are offering to them, simply because they don't want to hurt Kevin Durant's feelings, is lunacy. And it's malpractice, and I can't get behind that. I just can't get behind that kind of idiocy when it comes to a Kevin Durant deal. I just, it's nuts. And I don't think Kevin Durant has the same leverage as he used to have when he was younger, which made more sense. He did have leverage. Now it's not the same. It's not the same. And the market is telling you what people think of KD. They're not that interested in him. And my guy Andy in the chat, thanks for reminding me. The Toronto Raptors deal is so bad, it is laughable. Jakob Poeltl is maybe a top 20 center in the NBA. How much better is he than Nick Richards? Not great. RJ Barrett can't consistently score, and his contract is bad. Emmanuel Quickley, microwave scorer, former sixth man of the year, sure. And who was the last piece to that deal? Someone remind me in the chat if you want to. But Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, and whoever it was as well in that deal, it's so bad that I can't even remember who the third player is in that deal for Kevin Durant. I'm sure I had it here in just a second, but I'll be able to find it. But it's just not good enough, guys. It's just not good enough. Pick 9 I know is in that deal. That's the only thing good about that deal. It's Emmanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett. Okay? You can't have both. So it's because of the contracts. RJ Barrett makes too much money. He can't consistently score. He's not a very good defender. And Jakob Poeltl doesn't add anything more. Doesn't do anything to help elevate your center room. So I can't remember what the last piece of that deal is. I know it's Emmanuel Quickley or RJ Barrett because the contracts don't line up. But either way, it's terrible. It's an awful deal. If you take that deal, you are getting fleeced, or you just don't want to send Kevin Durant to a trade preferred destination because he's pissing you off, and there's nothing else better on the table. So, compared to the Spurs, it's not terrible. But I'd rather have Devin Vassell than Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley. And I'd rather have the 14th overall. Both deals aren't good. But the Toronto Raptors deal is it's terrible, man. It's terrible. And I apologies for going after you because I don't know you. But that is by far the worst deal in a Kevin Durant trade. And I'm happy that Andy brought that up in the chat because it's just not good enough. You need to get more for Kevin Durant. It needs to be a young player that can ascend into something more, a lottery ticket, like Dillingham, like Smith, like Castle, one of those few things, a pick and salary. It can't be Jakob Poeltl, who's not good, RJ Barrett, who can't consistently score, is not a great defender, Emmanuel Quickley, who's a microwave scorer and fine off the bench. It just doesn't make any sense. If we're talking about RJ Barrett being way better than Devin Vassell, Andy, then we're in a bad place. We're in a bad place regardless what side you're on. All right. So we've talked a lot of Phoenix Suns over the past couple of days. It's time to give you guys, you guys really like my Cardinals coverage, so there hasn't been a ton going on with the Arizona Cardinals. This stuff tends to do the best on my page. But it's been crazy with all the Kevin Durant talk. It's been filling up the news boards, filling up the message boards, as the old people would say it. And it's just been otherworldly. But there are other things going around in the NFL world. And finally, we have something to talk about because it has been slim pickings over the last couple of days when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals. And we just saw, I believe it was a couple of days ago, where Fox Sports decided it would be a good idea to give me the idea of making Kyler Murray the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. So we haven't talked a lot of Arizona Cardinals recently, and it's been a little dead. But Fox Sports released its quarterback rankings. I am not one to really defend Kyler. I think it is overdone. I think he is, at this point, kind of overstayed his welcome in Phoenix. He's got to be better. Kyler has to be better. And what we saw from Fox Sports a couple of days ago, ranking Kyler Murray, they decided, according to Fox Sports, Kyler Murray is the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL. Behind guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, who both have done nothing yet in the NFL, Geno Smith, who, again, not much there, Tua Tagovailoa, Sam Darnold, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Jordan Love, J.J. McCarthy, Dak Prescott. There is so much wrong with this list. Labeling guys like Tua Tagovailoa, Brock Purdy, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Geno Smith, all ahead of Kyler Murray, making Kyler the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL, according to Fox Sports. I'm going to put on my fanboy hat for a second and say Kyler Murray is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. We are in a world now where you either are buying into Kyler Murray or you're totally done with him. And both sides I can buy into a little bit. I could probably buy more into the Kyler Murray, we're just done with him crowd because he's got to perform. It's year 7. But putting guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Tua Tagovailoa, all ahead of Kyler Murray in a ranking is absurd. Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray, if you pull 32 GMs, they're taking Kyler. Drake May and Caleb Williams, if you include the contracts as well and you like the promise, I get it. But from just the skills standpoints, Drake May and Caleb Williams have shown nothing. They've just shown flashes, and it makes you feel something. Geno Smith, he's accurate. I mean, I think it's crazy to say that he's better than Kyler. He's accurate. He's fine. I mean, C.J. Stroud had a down year last year. So I have been highly critical of Kyler. And to the people in this chat who have been watching this show, I have been. If you're talking about the most underrated quarterback in the NFL, it does feel like Kyler Murray is starting to earn that title. Because now, according to Fox Sports, they're putting him in the bottom third of starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Drake May, Caleb Williams have not earned the right to be better than Kyler. Geno Smith hasn't earned the right to be better than Kyler. So as much as I would say and agree that, yes, Kyler needs to be better this year, starting now, he has shown more flashes than Geno, Caleb, Drake May, and Tua Tagovailoa of individual greatness than those guys have. They haven't been consistent when it's come to those kinds of things. And Kyler has been an MVP candidate before. Kyler has led a team to the playoffs before, just like Tua has, and But if you threw Kyler Murray on some of these other teams, if you swapped Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray, do you think they're any different? Both guys are kind of small. Kyler Murray's more athletic. Kyler Murray's more accurate, and he's got a better deep ball. So I think it's unfair to just continuously label Kyler a bottom third quarterback, because if that's the case, the Cardinals have no chance to succeed this year. What these rankings tell me by ranking Kyler so low is that the Cardinals have no chance to compete this year. And I just don't believe that to be the case. I get ranking Kyler 14, 15, 16. But once you start to reach the early 20s at 22, which is what Fox Sports called him, you are starting to reach the asinine, underwhelming, maybe underrated quarterback. Kyler is starting to earn the title of the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. There is no world where he's in the early 20s of rankings. And when you talk about him before being an MVP candidate or leading the team to the playoffs, Kyler has shown stretches that he can be awesome. It's putting it all together. And with how much talent they have this year, I'll agree with you. Next year, if Kyler Murray falls right flat on his face and it's just over in those instances where they can't get him to lead this team to the playoffs at the end of the day, and I apologize, guys. People are legitimately right next to me deciding that now they want to trim our hedges. So if you guys can hear that, hopefully they walk away in any minute, but we're wrapping up here. But Kyler has earned the right to be the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. I get he has fallen short of expectations, but there is no denying Kyler Murray's individual greatness. He's accurate. He throws an insane deep ball. He's elusive. I think he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, next to guys like Lamar Jackson, next to guys like Patrick Mahomes. He's not those guys, but he has some traits that help you feel like he's got some of the same tangibles as those dudes. Kyler has to be better. And that's another thing. My guy in the chat, King Bry, I don't know, Ben. I think Kyler can do what Tua does with the Dolphins, but a healthy Tua is scary. Okay. No one has ever walked into a game, saw Tua Tagovailoa on the other side and said, oh, damn. I believe that teams have done that with Kyler. Now, they're not sure what Kyler are going to get that day. Kyler's inconsistent as hell, and he has to be more consistent. But we've seen in stretches what he can do. And he has, according to guys like Aaron in the chat as well, he has to prove that he's better than that. He has to. Kyler Murray has earned the right to be the most underrated quarterback in the NFL, but there's a good side and a bad side of that. The good side is these reporters and these people that rank on it are just wrong. And then there's the right side of it of also like Kyler hasn't been great. Like they don't pay attention enough to Kyler to rank him higher. But to guys like us who watch Kyler all the time, yes, he hasn't been awesome. Kyler has to give us more of a reason to defend him, but Kyler Murray is, in terms of all things, starting to become massively underrated. He's incredibly accurate. He's elusive. He's got a deep ball that is, I think, top 3 in the league. And he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, to the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. He's not those guys, once again, but he's got those attributes. And I believe teams have looked at the other side of the field and said, damn, we got Kyler Murray today. This is going to be difficult. I don't think teams have ever done that for Drake May and Geno Smith and Caleb and Tua Tagovailoa, who are all guys Fox has started to rank over Kyler. That's my point. Aaron, my guy Aaron in the chat, I got to remember to read these. He said he's got an insane deep ball. He hardly throws the ball downfield. That happened with Drew Petzing. Every time Kyler is throwing the ball deep downfield, I'm thinking of the Christian Kirk pass on 4th and 2 against the Vikings a few years ago. I'm thinking about a throw to Zach Ertz on the sidelines against the Texans a few years ago. Again, I'm talking about an over-the-shoulder pass to Christian Kirk against the Titans, and then as well to Rondale Moore against the Texans in the first year of Jonathan Gannon. Kyler Murray's deep ball is second to probably none. He is awesome. So it is, Aaron, I'm fighting with people in the chat, but my guy Aaron in the chat saying Tua actually had a 4,000-yard passing season. Okay, well then check the rushing stats. Kyler's rushing stats are much higher than Tua's, and also one's got Mike McDaniel throwing the ball, one's got Drew Petzing throwing the ball. This is where it's unfair. This is where it starts to become unfair. You're comparing different situations with Kyler and other places. If Kyler was in those places, I think Kyler would succeed better than Tua has. It's not fair. And so I think Kyler's starting to be a little underrated. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think you can put him there. But I do think Kyler still has earned the right to be in the top half. And so when you drop him 7 spots short of that, 22 is too far. No one in this chat is taking Geno Smith, Drake May, Caleb Williams, not CJ Stroud, Tua. I said someone else. But either way, some of the guys, so Tua, Geno Smith, Drake May, and Caleb Williams, skill set wise, forget the contracts, forget everything else. You cannot prove to me that those guys are better right now skill wise. That's my point when it comes to Kyler. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I got an appointment all the way on the other side of town that I got to jump over to. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show. Do me a favor, follow me on all social media channels, @Ben Garcia Show. Tell me on social media why you think I'm incredibly wrong about Kyler. I'll answer back to you. I like talking back to the people that listen to this show. Follow me on all social media platforms, @Ben Garcia Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the stream. Helps me out more than you guys know. But for Aaron, King Dream, King Bry, Michael in the chat this morning, appreciate you guys being here. Andy as well. Until tomorrow, which will be the final stream of the Ben Garcia Show, unless, of course, Katie gets traded on Friday, then a great bonus episode. We'll do an emergency pod there. But appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been the Ben Garcia Show.